Today on Ask BRStv, we're answering Reef Jedi Dino's question from our Ask BRStv Facebook group. What kind of gallons per hour is needed for VCA's random flow generators to work? Hi guys, Randy again, answering an Ask BRStv question about the flow requirements for these 3D printed random flow nozzles, which can provide dispersing flow patterns for your return lines in a seemingly random pattern. So Reef Jedi, the answer depends on which one of the three sizes you choose. These ones made for 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch lock line have optimal flow rates at 300 to 450 gallons per hour for the 1/2, 420 to 500 for the 3/4. If you get one of the 1-inch versions, you can crank that flow up from 720 to 1,000 gallons per hour. These things are pretty sweet. I really wish I had them around when I had my dual corner overflow 125 gallon setup years ago. If you aren't familiar with how they work, it's surprisingly simple by harnessing the natural way the water flows. It seems all they did was put slight twists in the fins inside in such a way that when the water hits them, it chooses the path of least resistance. This is something that changes pretty fast and frequently with the most subtle change in flow resistance and ends up forcing more water through one channel versus the others. This seems to repeat across all the channels in random patterns as pressures increase and release in fractions of a second. It's pretty cool. I've always been in the camp of reefers who try to optimize the most flow in the tank as possible, the return pump included, so I'd have to say I'm personally a big fan of the universal lockline sizes where I can snap off one of my old flare nozzles and replace them with one of these. You know, on top of that, rather than only having water shoot out the return in one constant linear direction, this thing randomly spreads the flow in all kinds of directions. You know, come to think of it, these would have also been pretty valuable in my frag tanks where space was really limited, where I would consider throwing one like the 1-inch directly into the return bulkhead or an over the back with some lock line and end up saving myself a bunch of cash and real estate by not having to add more power heads to create the same effect. All right, one last little tidbit. If you're interested in something like this for your tanks, right now there's 4 options. The 2 that lock into 1/2 inch and 3/4 inch lock line, it'll likely hit a majority of you, but there's also a 1-inch version that comes with a 1-inch threaded end to screw directly into a threaded bulkhead and allows you to pivot in all kinds of directions, or the other 1-inch version that slips directly over some 1-inch PVC. Thanks for watching, and thank you, Reef Jedi Dino, for the great question. So many of these questions come from our Ask BRStv Facebook group, where reefers can get their questions answered from us and group members, often in real time. Click that link in the lower left to see what reefers are saying about this and other Ask BRStv questions, or ask one of your own. See you next time on Ask BRStv.